This is my instrument, and my instrument changes as I get older, as I get fatter, skinnier, more jaded, or more stressed about my health or whatever. My instrument is constantly in flux, and so you have to know thyself and be in touch with your instrument and keep it in as best shape as possible, but know where you're at all times, because your instrument changes. This is not a trumpet that is always a trumpet. This is a meat instrument.
and that all connects to that know thyself.
Yeah.
Like every single coaching I do, it's like I find I almost always bring up you're playing the instrument that you are today.
Yeah.
Hey there, welcome back to the DNA podcast. My name is Douglas Nyback. I will be your host today and all of the days of this podcast. This is a podcast where we talk to artists and we find out what they are made of, what makes them them, what it's like to be in the thick of it, successful and grinding to get to that next level. This is not the podcast where you go to find famous people that just say like, the moment that I stopped caring was the moment that everything happened for me. This is for actors and who are in it, and for people who want to really learn and get access to what the whole shebang is about. Today's guest is this amazing guy. His name is Kristian Bruun. I first met him doing a show called Carter, one of the shows he's famous for. The other show is this little ditty called Orphan Black, as well as a bunch of other stuff. Kristian is a consummate actor. He's like been at this for a really long time. He's phenomenal in comedy. He's done tremendous dramatic work. He's just such an interesting dude, and I've known him for a really long time. We had parallel movies doing the festival circuit like a few years ago, and so we saw a lot of each other, and I just grew a real admiration for him. This conversation was great. He's so much fun and he's so knowledgeable, and there's really great advice and lots of jokes and laughs and goofiness, and he goes on these wonderful tangents, and like just a prince of a fella, Kristian. And anyway, I'll let the podcast speak for itself. I do want to say that this episode, what up, sponsors. Also, by the way, ball cap guy. I'm introducing the internet to my ball cap persona. I was filming super late last night. It's ball cap day. It is what it is. We have sponsors for the podcast for the first time ever. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. There'll probably be a throw somewhere in the middle of this thing. But I just want to thank and welcome both Othership and Fancy Face to this shebang. Othership is a wellness space that does contrast therapy. They do saunas and cold plunges. I go there every Friday. When I got sober, it kind of replaced going to the bar for me. And it's really, really fantastic. Fancy Face is a makeup and skincare line created by Brittany Gray, who is a client of mine. She's built this thing from the ground up. It's designed for everyone, and because she's an actor and a performer, she's got a very special eye for creating products for actors. So Fancy Face and Othership, welcome. I'm so psyched. More about them later in the show. Thank you so much for being here. Follow us on the social medias. Follow us here on wherever you're watching this, if you are not already. If you do like this podcast, please also just give us the 5 stars if you're on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. Those make a big difference. And without any further ado, let's get into this heckin' thing. Let's just get into the podcast. Kristian, so I do a separate intro.
Okay, yeah.
So that you don't. I don't.
Oh, you've already done it.
Kristian's. Well, I'll record it later.
Yeah.
Because if you're a real jerk during the podcast,
exactly.
Kristian's a giant piece of shit.
And you'll see that in this podcast
exactly.
episode. How much of a piece of shit Kristian Bruun is.
This is the theme of it all. First off, like, thanks for making the time. You and I know each other, but we don't know each other well.
Yeah.
I've always had a lot of respect for you. You're a hard guy not to respect.
Likewise. Oh, thank you.
That's nice. I first met you on Carter.
Yeah.
And I was just coming in, I was like doing a guest thing on it, and I was like, that dude is really nice. and then I sort of like then became a fan of your work, because I was like, I should figure out this guy, and I was like, oh, this little show called Orphan Black.
Right.
And then you've just been in every situation where our films were doing film fests together. Like, you just been really nice and kind, and it's great to. I kind of ambushed you on social media to see if you would come here.
I think I messaged or left a message on one of your videos. And you're like, come on the podcast, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, I want to be on this thing.
Yeah. I think I commented on one of your videos. I was like, you should.
Oh,
I was just like, I'm just going to Shanghai him into this. Yeah.
Well, I've been watching like all the little clips that you put up for a while now, since you've been putting them out, and they're so helpful. Like, I've been doing this 20 plus years now, and I still need reminders, and updates to how I do a self-tape or how I think of casting directors and what the knowledge is about how they operate with all the self-tapes they're getting. Like, you have some really good up-to-date information, and I find that helpful. Oh, I just touched the mic. As someone who's been doing it for a while, I still need, you always need to grow. You always need to learn. Like, this is not a job that you're just like, okay, I'm good. I've done all the training, done all the learning. Now I just do it. It's like, you got to be constantly going to the gym and improving yourself.
Is that something like a mentality that you've always had? Like baked in from, well, I'm curious, like, how did you get started in all this?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question,
always a
right?
very good place to start.
Yeah.
But
all right. Well, it's a weird roundabout story.
Love that.
Okay. So I went to military school in the United States for high school.
Makes complete sense that you would segue into acting.
Yeah. Total sense. So I was there. I was always like a music nerd as a kid, and always would do the school play, things like that. And I always wanted to be an actor, but I didn't think that was realistic.
Right.
I was like, you got to be born in Hollywood to do that.
Right.
Like, I just didn't have a concept as a kid that you can move anywhere you want and do whatever. I was just like, I'll be in Toronto and I'll just get a job or whatever.
And are you from Toronto?
I'm from Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah. And I took to instruments really easily as a kid. So I played a whole bunch of them, and I loved music. But my academics were garbage. And real mediocrity over here.
I feel you, my guy.
Academia, not my strong suit.
Real bad. Look at me now, math teachers.
Oh boy. We made it, baby. So my mom was like, maybe you need something a little bit more, a more structured environment, or maybe you should go away for school. That might help. I was always a very independent kid.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest of 3, and I also have 2 step siblings as well.
Okay.
And we kind of got onto military school.
Right.
Because my mom's from a military family. I just kind of always grew up with that in my head a little bit. So we found one that we liked. We found out they had a really good music program, that everybody in the regimental band was on scholarship. And so I went down with my trumpet, which was my best instrument at the time.
Yeah, you have trumpet vibes.
I have trumpet. I
was alto
trumpet
sax.
vibes. Oh, I did alto sax as well.
Nice.
And soprano sax.
Ooh,
coming through those Kenny G years, baby.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was a violin
music.
player. Originally, like, that was my...
I was a violin player too.
No
Did you learn the Suzuki method?
Yeah, Suzuki.
That's how I learned.
Yeah, I started when I was
like
3. That was my first... Look at us.
It's like
Look at this.
staring into the mirror.
Yeah. I wish. Look at this. Look at these pipes just on display.
I've been working on
Middle of winter, displaying the pipes. Amazing. Tanned.
Yeah, that's just because of vacation.
Pale.
Yeah.
Red from embarrassment and warmth.
I'm on a network thing right now, and so I was like, this season, because last season I wasn't tanned, and all of the people from LA are just fucking Adonises who are gorgeous and tanned all the time. So this season going in, I was like, I'm getting tanned and I'm staying tanned.
Let's just hope you don't pick up from where the last episode
we
left
did
off.
immediately.
Okay.
It just didn't matter.
Yeah, great. So tanned all of a sudden.
Like, I don't look like a ghost.
Runs around the corner. It's like cliffhanger ending. Runs around the corner, all of a sudden tan.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Detoured to Mexico. Came back.
Nobody notices.
Sorry.
So military school.
Yes.
I went down with my trumpet. I auditioned. Terrible audition. My first audition that I can remember doing was for Colonel Danny Janes, who was terrifying, this Vietnam vet bandmaster. I was so intimidated that I started crying in the middle of the audition.
Oh, dang. All right.
And I came out and I was like, Mom, I don't think I got it. And like, we had come all the way down to Philadelphia, and
it was an American military school.
It was an American military school outside of Philly. I was this little tiny, short, round Canadian kid. And I was like, Mom, I didn't get it. And then I did get it. Colonel Janes saw something in me and was like, yep, we'll work with this kid. So I got a scholarship, a partial scholarship to go to the school, which helped pay for it. And I was like, I'm going to join the military. Like, by the end of my experience there, I was like gung-ho. I was like, I want to go back to Canada, be in the army, be in the infantry, be an officer. I wanted to be a UN peacekeeper.
Okay.
Which was, something that my uncle had done. And I was just like, this is it. That's what I want to do. I really worked well in a structured environment. My academics went way up. I was an officer by the time I left. I was a first lieutenant platoon leader. And, I was in charge of kids. It was like Lord of the Flies there. It was like kids in charge of kids. It was chaos. It was crazy. Valley Forge Military Academy, great school.
But
used to be.
Yeah.
It's kind of on its last legs right now. But it was a crazy experience, like wild high school experience.
Yeah. What was so wild about it? I gotta, like you mentioned Lord of the Flies, like kids running around.
A lot of
like,
hazing.
Sucks to your asthma.
A lot of hazing. A lot of beatings, shenanigans.
A lot of beatings.
Okay. Shenanigans, fights. Like some of them playful and like wrestling and stuff like that. But it was just like, it was a very hardcore, intense environment where I basically learned comedy.
Okay.
I wasn't big enough to defend myself there.
Sure.
And I hadn't gone through puberty when I got there. I was this tiny little 13-year-old kid. I was a late bloomer. I was kind of chubby. And I was like, I'm going to get eaten alive in this place. What was I thinking with this idea of going to military school?
It's like going to prison.
Yeah. But I knew very quickly, I somehow knew that the structure of like the military is like this. And it's like that in any job. It's like there's someone at the top and there's people who get delegated to do something, delegated. If you're at the bottom of the pyramid, just say yes, sir, to everybody and like do it and you'll be fine.
Right.
All you have to do is just follow orders. It's the basic structure of any job, but that's how the military works. And I learned that pretty quickly. But you'd always get beat up like there. So I learned very quickly that there was 3 types of people at military school. There was like the alpha jocks who were physically brutish and could control situations. There were the sort of weaklings who just got trampled on and like did not do very well.
Right.
And then there were the smart, sharp-tongued people who might not be able to physically defend themselves, but could turn a situation around if they had a funny thing to say or a quip.
Yeah.
Or, if you're about to get punched or beaten up by someone, if you can make that person laugh, they're not going to want to punch you anymore.
Right.
They'll punch the person next to you, but you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If they're still angry. But I learned comedy. It was like the most horrific improv training in the world is military, all boys military school, where it's like, no, don't hit me. I'm going to say something funny. And then they're like, you're all right. And then you become their buddy and then you're protected.
Right.
Prison rules.
Yeah.
But it was a wild environment. And then by the time I left, I was, 6'1" and, in charge of people. I was an officer and beating people up.
Yeah.
On my side of things, you got to carry the fist forward.
One must inflict the violence.
No, but it was a wild, crazy school, and I had a great experience there and some terrible experiences as well, and it really shaped, I think, shaped me and gave me quite a thick skin, which has helped a lot with this job.
Yeah.
So I go off to university. I go back to Canada, go to Queen's. I'm a physics major. And I'm just like, I just need a degree in anything, and then I can join the Army as an officer.
Yeah.
And be a UN peacekeeper. This is like 1997. And I go to Queen's, and I hate physics. I walk out of my first lab feeling so stupid and crying. There goes the tears again. Like, I guess I'm a very emotional person. And I was crying coming out of that lab. Yeah, it's good for the job.
Yeah.
And I switched my major immediately to classical studies because I loved archeology and Greek and Roman history. Cool. And so I studied that. I've always wanted to be an archaeologist. I watched YouTube videos about archaeology. It's very dorky. No. But mostly because of Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones.
I was super into paleontology as a kid.
Exactly.
Super into it.
I'm like, I just want to dig in the dirt.
Park.
Yeah, I get it. Like, that's my favorite movie. We can get into all that stuff. But, I was like, okay, I'm happy with this. I'll get a degree in archaeology, and then I'll join the Army. Yeah. Then on a dare, I auditioned for a scripted / improv comedy show done in the student pubs at Queen's called Queen's Players. And there's a live band with these shows, and the audience members are really rowdy and drunk, and they're trying to get you drunk. They pass up beers, and you have to chug them and keep the scene going. And there are these wild theatrical productions, and wildly popular. And I was dared to audition for it. So I prepared a musical number, and you do some improv games. My musical number was, I did a medley of Ice Cube raps, which isn't the best musical medley to do. There's not a lot of singing, but I did it anyways, and they were very confused.
Yeah.
And I did the improv games, having never really done improv before. And they're like, this guy is so weird. Like, what is with this weird guy? Oh, and at the beginning of the audition, because I had never really done a theatrical or like a theater audition before.
Yeah.
I was super nervous.
Yeah.
And
cried again.
No, I didn't cry.
Just wept.
I was just pumped up.
I was like, this is just what I do. Give me a second.
They're like, this is a comedy. Please stop crying. I got up and I was like, it was a whole board of like, you know, older kids. And I'm just like, I'm really nervous. And they're like, okay. I'm like, I'm just going to get rid of the nerves. And I started jogging around the room. Like, imagine this happening in an audition. I started jogging around the room and they're just like, what the f- is this kid doing? Running around, and then I just started doing push-ups. Like, I was just doing military school stuff because I was like, that's, you know, I got to get like the willies out and like, not my willy, the willies.
Willies, yeah.
And I'm doing push-ups. I'm running around the room, and they're like, what the f- is going on? And then I do an Ice Cube medley, and then some improv. Didn't get into the show, but I was like the next on the list. Yeah. And then a buddy of mine, someone who became a buddy of mine later on, he decided
broke his legs.
No, he decided to do the musical that year. He got into Guys and Dolls, so that opened up a spot, and then I moved in. And that's been like the story of my career so many times, is I've always been like an understudy or like next on the list, and then someone drops out and I get the opportunity, and then I like use that opportunity and like, you know, make sure like people don't make that mistake again, which they do, and then I happily take the opportunity. Yeah. But so that's how I discovered theater. I met all these people who were in the theater department at Queens. Yeah. I didn't even know you could study theater as a major in university. Like, I just didn't know that was an option. No guidance counselor at military school told me that.
I can't imagine
Of course,
why.
yeah, I can't imagine why. So I was like, that, you know what? I'm going to do this. This is like so much fun. I love being on stage. I love making people laugh. I'll study this for the next 3.5 years.
Right.
And then I'll join the Army and go and do UN peacekeeping. By the end of third year, I was so into it that I was starting to think, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Right.
But I had no training. Like, I just had like a couple of years of
theater school.
Not even theater school at that point. That's just like university program.
Right.
So it's a lot of, you know, a lot of academia, which is not my strong suit.
Right.
But I like threw myself into a ton of projects. I worked on like 10 productions a year, mostly acting, but also like doing behind the scenes, like doing every job I could.
Yeah.
I think I worked on like 30 productions in 3 years, and I was just voraciously hungry for theater. And by the end of third year, I told my acting teacher, like, I want to be an actor. And she's like, Lovey, I don't think you're good enough. And I was like, what? And she's like, I think you should look into child psychology. I think you'd be very good working with children. And I was like, what the are you talking about? I was livid.
Yeah.
She's like, if you want to be an actor, you have to go to theater school. And I'm like, I'm in school. I'm finishing next year, and I'm going to become an actor. And I'll show you. And she's like, if you want to be an actor, you have to go to theater school. And like by the beginning of fourth year, I was like, I need to go to theater school. I'm not good enough. I better go to theater school. So I did the auditions. I know, this is the longest story of how I became an actor.
I love it. This is the whole point of the podcast.
I guess so, yeah. So I'm
checking, by the way, just to make sure that the audio is working.
Oh, okay.
I freak out that the mics hit for some
like
reason.
just
shut
checking
off.
the timer.
It's not. It's not logical.
I would totally be doing the same thing. So at the beginning of fourth year, I was like, I need to get into a good theater school. Here we go. Let's make the rounds. So you know, I really wanted to go to NTS, National Theater School in Montreal, because that's the top school. And, my backup was George Brown Theatre School in Toronto, and those were really the two that really caught my eye. I wanted to stay in Canada, but I really wanted NTS because I love Montreal, and I wanted to go to McGill, but I got into Queens and I didn't get into McGill.
Right.
So I was like, I just want to be in Montreal. I love Montreal. My siblings were born there. My sister went to McGill. I would visit. It was awesome. I'm like, I just want to be in Montreal.
Yeah.
And auditioned for NTS, and they redirected my monologues, like whoever was doing the auditions, in a way that made them make sense better than a different acting teacher in fourth year at Queens had done. I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense. Like they were just like able to pull that out of me instantly. I was like, man, that's awesome. Didn't get in, but I loved the redirection that they gave me.
Yeah.
And I used that to grow the monologue, and I auditioned for George Brown and got into George Brown and went to George Brown Theatre School for 3 years. And I loved George Brown. That was such a tough school. I don't know how it is now, but when I was there, it was 6 days a week, 14-hour days. It was like a true conservatory program of classical theater. So it was like you're just inhaling Shakespeare and Ibsen and Strindberg and Chekhov, and you are working your f*** off. Yeah. And you're just diving into the material. They're cutting people every semester. You know, we started with 32, we ended with 14.
That was my experience.
Yeah. And it was phenomenal training. It was very hands-on training. All the core classes that we took, movement, voice, speech, dance, and history were super important, singing as well, like music. And then we had these great, you know, blocks of, you know, Shakespeare, and then we did an Ibsen block and a Chekhov block. Like, it was just phenomenal training. And you get your introduction to other professionals who are currently working in theater coming in to direct your shows. And that was what got me my first professional gigs right out of theater school. Nice. So George Brown was a huge leap forward for me. And so I basically went to school for 7 years to become an actor. Damn. Could have been a doctor or a lawyer, but no, I decided to become an actor after 7 years of schooling. And that's how I got into it. I started off in theater in Toronto.
Cool. That's awesome.
So military school to theater in Toronto. My parents were really, they're like, what's going on with this kid?
Like slightly befuddled.
Yeah. But I was like dyeing my hair. Like I got to university and I was like smoking and like partying and dyeing my hair red, like just like dark red for some reason. I wanted red hair.
I feel like everybody when I got to theater school, everybody got like all of the girls immediately got their noses pierced. Yeah. Like immediately.
Always great.
Yeah.
For on camera. And all the guys just have all the piercings.
Became gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately.
It's like I'm in the spot. Let's go.
Like boom. 87% of them started dating women and then immediately didn't. Yeah. It was really funny. Yeah.
God love theater school.
Yeah.
But I worked my ass off in theater school and I really grew a lot through actually all three of those schools really set me up for this industry in their own various ways. And in fact, theater school was more similar to military school than it was to university.
I loved how regimented theater school was. I have found in general people's experiences with theater school are directly proportionate to the amount of work that you put in.
Yes, 100%. Because I saw people drown there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not doing anything, buddy. Like, put in the work, do the journals, whatever you got to do. Like, do the fucking work. And that's the name of the game in this business. Do the fucking work.
And I think there's a real challenge because theater school takes something that like you love and it tells you that, hey, this is actually work. Right. And you're going to love it, but you're not going to love the work all the time. No. And that's a really important lesson to learn.
Yeah. And not every job is going to be a dream job. Not every role is going to be a dream role. Like you are going to get cast in shit. Yes. Especially at theater school where you're like, oh, I really wanted the lead in that. And you're like, oh, you're the dowdy neighbor. You're like, okay. But it's like, I got it, got to give it my all. I'll be the best dowdy neighbor you've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did you segue from theater into film and television? Because that's where your career has really blossomed. Right?
Yeah. So I did theater for a few years in Toronto at like Soul Pepper and my own theater company with some friends, writing and producing our own stuff, doing some indie productions, a lot of summer stock, Shakespeare.
Did you ever do Stratford?
I did not do Stratford, and it's funny because George Brown was very much like a get into Shaw, get into Stratford, or get into Soul Pepper kind of vibe. And I ended up in Soul Pepper.
To make a living in theater in Toronto, really.
And I was able to make a living out of that, barely, like scraping by. Yeah. But I did that for a few years, and then I was like, I want to live in Europe. Like I just need to experience life elsewhere. Okay. I've always had itchy feet. I'm an avid traveler.
Well, the military would have made sense for you.
Yeah, exactly. Because I wanted to go all around and like help people and go to war-torn countries and experience life there. So I got my European citizenship because my father was born in Finland and he had passed away when I was just like a month before second year of theater school, which is like your hell year. And he passed away very suddenly. I was 22.
I'm very sorry.
Thank you. And it was horrific to me. It shredded me, and I just launched myself into the work as a way to avoid feeling and experiencing grief. I just said, "Fuck it, I'm just going to work my ass off."
And what did your therapist say about that?
Didn't have one. Did not have a therapist until 2021. 20 years later, basically.
Is
or
that about when I started therapy? I didn't
yeah,
start therapy.
and I kick myself every day. I had a session yesterday. Kick myself every day that I didn't do it 20 years ago.
I would have been
where I would be now as a person would be like so much further forward. I feel like it's, if I can say anything to anyone, especially a young artist, get a fucking therapist.
Yes.
Talk your shit out, figure out your trauma, and it'll help you learn how to navigate your emotions in a healthy way that will benefit you in this business. But know thyself. That was the first fucking thing they taught us at George Brown Theater School. Know thyself, which is above the temple, or was above the temple of Apollo in Delphi in Greece, where the oracle was. People would go to see the oracle at Delphi to get, kings around Greece would go and get like divinations of like, the future, confusing divinations. But on the fucking temple, it said, know thyself. That was the first thing they told us at George Brown Theater School. The first day, the first thing. And I went to Delphi this year, last September, and it was an incredibly moving experience. Yeah. It is a magical place. Probably just because we know so much about it, but it is a stunning place in the world that carries so much importance. It's so weird, and I don't know if that's linked back to the whole notion of know thyself, but it felt like a pilgrimage going there by myself, and deeply emotional and deeply resonant. It was crazy.
The idea of a theater school putting that forth as like the number one thing is both so useful and at that age so useless.
Yeah, because like you're like, I know myself, dude, whatever.
But also
I know everything. 18, I'm 22.
Yeah, like I had grown up in Cameras, Alberta. It's like I knew myself as somebody who grew up in a town of 12,000 people. Like, so it's like, what is there to know?
Yeah.
Like, so it's an interesting thing because it is true and is the overriding acting note or note of artists in general, but it's also like a note that's borderline wasted on the youth.
Totally. Absolutely. Because it's only through experience that we grow as individuals, knowing ourselves, and also as an individual in the world. And my advice when I talk to young actors, or I go in and talk to a classroom, I have a lot of friends who are teachers, and they're like, can you talk to my drama class? I'm like, hell yeah. The first thing I say is, don't become an actor, just don't. And they're like, what? And then usually my friend is sitting in the back being like, what the fuck? You're supposed to encourage these kids. And then I'm like, if you're going to become an actor, know thyself, but also travel. Like, get out in the world, do other shit. Do not obsess over theater or film or musical theater. Obsess about everything. Obsess about the world. Obsess about people. Obsess about psychology, sociology, geography, geology, whatever it takes. Like, fucking obsess about everything. Yeah. Because this is a study of humanity. And if you don't have experience as a human, you are useless as an actor. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the micro focus on the craft is like, it makes sense that people get so zeroed in on. I did. Like, all I did was focus on the technical. Because it does require obsession. It does. That's the other thing. You have to consume as much film and theater as possible, but don't make that your sole focus. Know the hell out of film and theater and literature. Be smart, be well-read. Don't be pretentious about it, but just carry that knowledge within you. Yes. But obsess about other shit. Yeah. Know how a lens works. Know how a camera works. Get into photography. Go out in the world and take pictures. Explore. Like, it's so important. There's a recent interview with Tom Cruise where he talks about, like, the vast majority of young actors right now, like, don't know what lens they're on. Yeah. Like, they don't know what the lens does. I didn't know until about 5 years ago when I got obsessed with photography. That was my new obsession. And then I was like, oh, how do the lenses work? Yeah. Oh, some of them, like, spread your face out. Some of them thin them out. Some of them is like, like, knowing how all that works is so important to what we do. One of the biggest issues that I have with actors who are taping on their cell phones, it's like they're too close to the phone and it's a fisheye. So it's like you can be the most beautiful person on the planet. You get this like weird nose and it's really weird, wonky face. It's wild. Okay, I want to talk quickly about one of the partners of the show, Fancy Face. Fancy Face is created by actress and entrepreneur Brittany Gray. She was a client of mine like a decade ago. We've recently come back into each other's orbits, and she's booking up a storm and has this incredible makeup line and skincare line called Fancy Face. Now, she understands the face, and when you see her on camera, you're like, that is a woman who understands her makeup. And
And so she started designing it. She designed it for everyone, but really specifically with a keen eye for both actors and dancers. And so it made total sense to bring them on and partner with them for the podcast. So we're offering 20% off with the code below, DNA Pod. If you're interested in trying their skincare products, I highly recommend you check them out. She gave us a bunch of, my partner Brie and I, a bunch of products, which was super sweet. And she's actually creating gift bags for all of our guests going forward, which is so awesome. So I'm really excited about this. If you're looking for a new skincare brand or you're looking for a new makeup brand, check them out. They're Toronto-based. Everything is ethical. Everything's super high quality. They've got an amazing space. We're going to be doing future giveaways like getting your look analyzed and your colors done and creating your perfect makeup look for tapes. We're going to be doing giveaways and all that stuff. It's the beginning of our collaboration together. Brittany is one of a kind. Nobody's business deserves to flourish more than hers. So anything we can be doing in this podcast to help, we are super psyched about it. And obviously they are being super generous with us. All this is in its infancy, and I'm excited to see where she and I and her business and DNA grow together. So check out that link down there. Her website's super cool. Everything she's doing is really cool. And without further ado, let's get back into the show.
And we're also actors. We're supposed to be able to like
stream of consciousness,
roll on the fly of like conversation. Like I'm never worried when I go on a date or something like that I'm going to be boring or there's going to be no conversation. I'm like, I know how to like worm my way around conversation.
I have found that becoming the host of this podcast has made me way more interesting in I just am more interested to get to know people in general.
And like people aren't really having conversations anymore. Like the younger generation, they're on their phones. They don't know how to communicate looking someone in the eye. They're not, socializing and drinking as much and going out as much. They're not having as much sex. They're they're kind of becoming insular, and it's going to affect the future of acting. There's so many elements out there right now that are affecting the future of acting, whether it's like Botox and how like plastic surgery, lip fillers, like things that people do physically to augment themselves, to look all the same, to look similar to the other people who have, similar things. And that's kind of dangerous. I even heard
it's very dangerous.
There's a supremely less, like a huge amount of work that's not being done right now. Like we have less work. That's the simplest way to put it. Like, something like we went from 500 scripted shows. Now they're kind of going for trying to hit like 300 or something.
I do think to a degree this is a market correction because when the streaming
and it
flooded the game with money.
I think this was going to happen.
Money spigots had to turn off at some point.
Totally. I think this was bound to happen before COVID hit, and then COVID hit, and everybody got every streamer, and all of a sudden they're just like, oh, everybody's watching everything. Create more content. There's this like post year and a half COVID like boom of even more stuff. And then a crash, the strikes, and then the economy, tariffs, chaos, crash. And they're now market correcting. But it means that we had all these people who were working a ton, all of a sudden out of work. So there's like less opportunity. You've got self-tapes. Like before, a casting director would have time to see in person maybe 10 people per role, at least in Toronto. Maybe 50 people if it was like LA or it was a big project. But 50 is like a lot of space. A lot of time. And now with self-tapes, like producers can see, I've heard tell of like 200 to 500 people per role. And the first round is like some like 20-year-old casting assistant just being like, no, looks weird. No, like
100%. It's completely changed.
How do you get through? It's crazy. So there's that challenge. You've got, these young 20-year-olds who are kind of a little bit more insular and more cerebral and might be good for acting on screen through the eyes, but they're not used to like looking people in the eyes as much. They're used to their screens, and that's dangerous. You got to get out into the world. And then for people in our age category, I heard that it's gotten way harder because of Botox and things like that, where you've got like 60-year-olds who look like they're 40, and people really taking care of their health. Like if you look at, I'm 46. If you look at someone who's 46 in the 80s, they looked like they were 60.
Yeah, my dad was old as shit at 46.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But like people in the 80s looked so old. And like, nobody moisturized and everybody smoked and sun damage and like, no SPF. And like now we take care of that stuff.
We discovered vegetables.
Yeah, vegetables are great.
Yeah.
And we're not eating everything out of
80s,
styrofoam.
Like, there's a lot less Quaaludes now. Yeah. Like all of those movie
Speak
stars.
For yourself, Doug. Okay, I've got a pocket full. I know, they're just so in demand these days. This price keeps going up.
But there was that like very tragic, a few years ago, a bunch of people in their like mid-60s that were famous like all died from heart failure. And it's like, and they're like, how could this happen? I'm like, all the fucking Quaaludes.
Yeah. Yeah, like, what do you think? You put pressure on your fucking arteries like that. Yeah. I could never get into
Cruise
that
is gonna live forever.
Yeah, I'm too worried about my heart to ever do that shit.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't need anything that makes me sweatier and more of an asshole. So I think I can do that on my own.
Yeah. So you were talking about, so this thing about the youth, sorry.
Go. It was the perfect time to segue.
Because I quite like this idea that people are becoming more insular. I can see how that can become a thing that works for the camera, but I also think my prediction for where the industry is going is there's going to be a premium on in-person experiences again.
I hope so.
Yeah, because...
And this is coming from someone who hates in-person auditions, and I'm now craving them.
I don't know about auditioning. I don't know if that's ever going to go back, but I mean like live performance.
Oh, yeah.
Because it will be the only thing that you can guarantee is given to you by a human.
Yeah.
And I think like, it also is really funny that like as soon as AI became proliferated, everyone was like, let's replace the artists. And then they realized, oh, that's actually really hard to do. And in fact, you can actually just replace all of the people who are making the decisions to say, let's replace the artists.
Yeah.
But you can't, nobody wants AI.
Hey, all these executives are pretty expensive. Maybe cut some costs there.
100%. So it's a really interesting thing. I actually think that we're going to be entering into an economy where the creative is at a premium. And like you get good at it now.
I like that. We just have so many artists looking for work right now. And crew members, writers, directors, everybody. It's that time in the business where we're going through a contraction, where people need to decide if they can stick it out, or is it time to find a new job? And there's a lot of people leaving LA and they're just like, fuck it, I haven't worked in a year. I got to do something else. And we need to go through that really time, and we're in the middle of it, and it sucks.
Yeah, I just want an industry hub to spring up in a city that doesn't cost $4,000 a month to fucking rent an apartment. Like,
I know.
Like Detroit's right there.
I know it. It had all those houses that were super cheap that artists were buying up, and it's become like kind of an artist hub in its own way. But that would be nice, wouldn't it?
I know, yeah.
But this is the problem. Like
you gotta be
big
somewhere.
cities, people want to live there, and that's why they become these hubs. It attracts artists, students, like anything cool is in the big cities that people want to go to. And that's the price of living in a big city and being part of a nutty, fun, crazy, cool industry like ours.
So you would
I didn't even get into the film part.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, that's where we were getting into.
Okay, so I moved to Europe. I got my Finnish citizenship. My dad was born in Finland.
Noted industry hub, Finland.
Yeah, Finland. There's some fun stories about there. Finnish film, Aki Kaurismäki films.
They actually make some great films. But
they do. They're very dour and fun. Dryly funny. Finnish people are crazy, just nutty. I love them. But I lived in Berlin for a year because I really wanted to experience life in a very cheap artistic city.
How
many
there you go. Languages do you speak?
15 now.
Holy shit.
I'm lying. I'm fucking lying, Doug.
You're acting real good.
Thank you so much. It's what I do. Yeah.
Fricative.
I was like, there's French, German, Frisian, and just making up languages. Like I speak English and then I half speak French and half speak German, really.
Great.
Like that's about it.
That's pretty impressive.
But when I travel, I try and learn as much of the language of the country that I'm in because it's fun for me to learn how to say thank you in Korean or a few phrases in Greek or whatever. And people like it when you're traveling and you put a little effort into it. But I lived in Germany and worked a little bit in theater there. I went and did a play in London at a pub theater. That was an awesome experience. So that year was great. Came back to Canada, toured a one-man show across all the fringes with my buddy. We adapted a book. He directed it, I acted in it, and then we drove a van across the country from Montreal to Vancouver, hitting all the fringe festivals along the way. And
the Edmonton Fringe was my first professional gig.
There you go. Yeah, we did Edmonton. We sold out all our shows at Edmonton Fringe. It It was great. I never want to do a one-person show again. It took years off my life. The stress. Oh God, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies thinking about it. It was wonderful. But the more time I spend away from theater, the scarier it gets. I just did a play just before coming home for the holidays in LA with a couple Canadian actors, Brandon Furlaw and Joe Dinico. We did a production of Art.
How's Joe doing?
He's great. He's doing great. He's so talented, man.
Yeah,
that guy
dude's a super talented guy.
He's so talented, and he really steals the show with Art. And we might tour. We might bring it to Toronto and Calgary and Vancouver. We're working on that right now.
Sick.
And it felt good to do theater again. I hadn't really done theater in 10 years since I left Toronto. Really.
Oh, it must have been terrifying.
Terrifying.
I think about doing theater, and again, I haven't done it.
Terrifying.
Like, get me on a set. I don't give a shit. I'll work with famous people.
Yeah.
Just put me in, coach. But like, get on stage again. I want to, and also,
I feel like that muscle needs a lot more exercising, and it was scary. God. We only did 3 shows of the play. We did it last year as well, but we remounted it and reworked it, which is always a fun experience coming back to a play like after a period of time. And it was terrifying. Every show was so different.
Yeah.
The audience, you really felt. I wonder if audiences have changed. I wonder if the pandemic has changed audiences. I don't know. But like, you really felt the wild swing of how different each show was with a wildly different audience every time.
Right.
You know, and like we had a night where we're like, oh, it's a ton of friends coming tonight. It's going to be ruckus and fun. And it was like silent. And we're like inside, we're doing the play and we're just like, what the is going on? Why is nobody laughing? What's going on? And everybody enjoyed it, but it was just like the vibe was quiet that night. So theater is terrifying. I love it. I miss it, but my God, it just takes. I'm such an anxious person that I feel like my anxiety has gotten worse the older I get. You know, like I thought life would be easier the older I get.
Yeah.
It turns out it's way harder and scarier and stressful. Like the world just seems so stressful right now, and maybe it is. I don't know.
It is. Well, and I guess like as you age, your awareness of everything.
Yeah. Everything matters.
Yeah.
Everything's expensive, and you know, as you get older, this is such an anxiety brain thing. I'm just like, okay, when am I going to get my cancer? And what's that going to be like? And is that going to slow down work? And what am I going to do for healthcare? And will I have coverage in the States while I'm living there to do my cancer? And oh boy, and will I do it early enough? Like, this is the anxiety brain that I got to work with as I get older.
We got to put that on a fucking t-shirt.
Yeah, when am I going to get my cancer? You know, like these are the thoughts that I have. And that feeds into the artist. Like that person, that brain is me. This is my instrument, and my instrument changes as I get older, as I get fatter, skinnier, more jaded, or more stressed about my health or whatever.
Yeah.
My instrument is constantly in flux, and so you have to know thyself and be in touch with your instrument and keep it in as best shape as possible. But know where you're at all times, because your instrument changes. This is not a trumpet that is always a trumpet. This is a meat instrument.
And that all connects to that know thyself.
Yeah.
Like every single coaching I do, it's like I find I almost always bring up you're playing the instrument that you are today.
Yeah.
Like a trumpet's always a trumpet, like you said, but like I always use the piano.
And I never got that. I never got it in theater school when they were like, just work from where you are that day.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm going to try and replicate the perfect performance every night. Yeah. And I'm going to do it perfect. Yeah. And when I don't, oh boy, am I going to beat myself up. Like I'll be in my head if I don't hit that note the way I did last night. Oh my God. No, just focus. Yeah. Don't think I'm here, just focus. Like that's what theater and acting can be sometimes. And it's like, as I got older, I realized like, no, every show's going to be different. You prep the hell out of an audition.
Yeah.
If you get in the room, it's going to come out different. Don't let it throw you.
Yeah.
Everything is different than how you prep. Like prep doesn't mean do that exactly as you prepped it. It just means be very well prepared, knowledgeable, comfortable, and then let it go. Improv it and have some fun.
Yes.
See what pops up. And that's happened in auditions. Like my audition for Orphan Black. I was doing a play in Toronto, and I was starting to transition more into film and TV because I was just like done with trying to make a living in theater in Toronto.
Look at us tying it all together.
I know, look at this. I brought it back, baby! And so I was doing a play with some friends, And my agent at the time kept asking, like, hey, are you free to audition yet? I'm like, it's tech week. I can't leave the theater. We're like teching this thing. And once the play opens, I can do this, do auditions again. And then finally the play opened and she's like, okay, can you audition tomorrow? I'm like, yes. And I'm like, great. They're still looking for this role. It's tomorrow morning at like 10:30 or 11. And here are the sides. Here's 3 scenes. And it's tomorrow. This was back in the day where you'd get like 8 to 10 pages and be due the next day.
Yeah.
In person.
Yeah, when people
not even on a self-tape where you can like take your time or be cheeky and put some lines up that you're having trouble remembering.
My clients are like, they only gave this to us like 48 hours ago. And
I'm
I was like, oh, you
fuck
sweet
you and your 48
child.
hours. Yeah.
I would teach until 10 or 11.
Well, this is what
happened.
happened.
Go to a bar and memorize 8 pages for 9 a.m. the next day.
I
walked uphill both ways.
Yeah, in the snow, knee-deep snow. We've become those old people.
Yep. Also, the new generation is soft as baby shit.
Soft as shit. How dare they? Let's go. Yeah. Pull up your boots. Pull up your boots? Your socks. I don't even have sayings anymore. I'm so old, I'm forgetting them. So I do the play that night, and I didn't have time to like memorize the lines or anything like that. I literally climbed into bed. Did I say literally? I literally climbed into bed, and I've got like the printout, 10 pages.
Yeah.
Going through the scenes. I'm like, it's the next day. I'm like, just memorize it, and just go with your gut on this one. I did not prep it beyond memorizing it.
Right.
And I just went by the seat of my pants. Seat of my pants. I don't know what this is like.
Seat of my pants.
Seat of my pants. I'm pinching the seat of my pants here. Got a bit
and
of
this was Orphan Black?
What's that?
This was Orphan Black?
This was Orphan Black. Oh, shit. So I go in the next morning. You know, I'm off book.
Yeah.
I don't like going to an audition without. I'll hold the sides in my hand. David Rotenberg always said, keep the sides in your hand. Don't use them.
Yeah.
They will lower expectations on their end. And they are there for you if you need them. Yeah. Turn the page where you know the page turns. But just have them there. They're just in case. For a first audition, nobody's going to shit on you for having sides in your hand. Different with self-tapes now. I usually don't have them in my hand on self-tapes. But in person, I would do that. Anyways, there was a scene where I've been tied up by my wife and I'm being tortured with a hot glue gun. That was in the first season because she thinks I'm a spy.
Right.
And so she ties me up and like blindfolds me and tortures me and is dripping hot glue on my chest. It was a really fun scene that was memorable, I think, from the first season. And I just remember, you know, just being like, I didn't really think my way through it. I just kind of used a lot of just being in the moment, being present.
Yeah.
And
you'd also be embodied because you're a theater actor. Like
exactly.
They would have seen a lot of film actors be like, ouch, ooh, ow, 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 ow.
Yeah. And also I was in shape. I was currently doing a play every night. So I was just like, things were, the oil was flowing and like I was just, you know, greased up and feeling it.
Ready to go.
Just sounds so wrong. Anyways, I'm like pretending to be tied up and she's torturing me. And then she goes and drips like the hot glue on my chest. And I just remember screaming. And then I don't know why, I just did it. I started to like blow on the hot glue to cool it down. Yeah. Like I was just like, and just like blowing on it to like cool it down because it was so hot and burning my chest. I don't know where that thought came from. It completely bubbled up from my stomach and from the gut. And off that one audition, I booked it. And then when I went in for fitting, Graham Manson, whose wedding I was at a few months ago, who's become a good friend. He was our showrunner, one of our showrunners and one of our creators. He's like, oh, here, let me introduce you to the writers. And I walked in the writers' room and they were all laughing so hard. They're like, that moment in the audition when you started blowing on the hot glue, we were killing ourselves. Like they loved it. And it was like, I honestly think it was that one little weird fucking improv that booked me Orphan Black, which changed my career forever. You know, and got me 5 seasons on a show. They were going to kill me off at the end of the first season. And they're like, oh, we're having so much fun with this character. Let's keep him alive.
This is like such
that little improv.
And you never know what the thing's going to be. Like I did like multiple seasons of Defiance. It was a sci-fi show. I played multiple characters on it because I was an alien and a human. But literally in my slate, I was like dressed like Han Solo, basically. I had like a Henley and a vest because it was like sci-fi.
Cool.
And I was like, in my slate, I was like, and I am dressed like Han Solo. And then in the table read for the pilot, the showrunner was like, you had us at Han Solo. And I was like, that wasn't even my acting.
Yeah. That's why slates are so important, in self-tapes.
Yes.
because I used to like not send in slates. I'm like, you know who I am. And then I realized, oh, this is the only chance for the banter, that time when you walk in the room.
Yeah.
Your slate is now the, oh, hey, everybody, how's it going? As you walk in and you chat a little bit and you're like, yeah, any questions? No. Do you want to do a talk or get right into it? Okay, we'll get into it. Like that little section of vulnerability when you walk in the room and they see who you really are, not the character, is so important in an audition, because they're like, do I want to work with this fucking idiot for the next 3, 4, 5 years? Yeah. Is he a piece of shit? Can I tell? Or is he like nice? Or is he cool? You know, like that's your interview right there. Yeah. The scenes is the work. Yeah. That other stuff, or now your slate, is the interview. Yes. So I always quip. I always make like, I don't push too hard, but I'll do something kind of goofy or like something that's just me personality-wise in the slate, and just to show what I'm like. Yeah. And that's terribly important. Don't just stand there and be like, Kristian Bruun, I'm 6'1" and I'm based out of Los Angeles. Like do something.
I know. Yeah, I'm the exact same way.
I'm swearing a lot. I'm sorry.
It's cool. We do. We bleep it for YouTube so we don't get
but
podcasts.
You're gonna have a blast.
The AI does
swearing, like bleeping the
Yeah.
Will it do that, or will it be like boop, 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 boop,
yeah, it'll just we don't.
Because now I'm just being a brat.
It's great. My editor is gonna
I'm so sorry.
I love that. Oh, sorry, Dahlia. Dahlia, we're so sorry.
So sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so that was, Orphan Black was your first on-camera gig?
No. My first on-camera gig.
No, it wasn't. I looked at your IMDb this morning. You had a lot of credits.
I think I do have like a lot of, because I went through a period of just saying yes to everything. I'm still kind of in that period. Say yes to everything. If you're starting out and you want to do more film and TV, go on, I don't know if Mandy.com is still around, or go on Casting Workbook and look at what student films are casting. Because I'll tell you something, between student films at if you're in Toronto, like York University or some of the university programs, film programs, compared to the, what's the Norman Jewison Center? Oh God, why am I?
CFC?
CFC. Yeah. So the CFC, which I love, but like the budgets and the equipment that you get at a York University film studies short film shoot is insane. Yes. They have so much equipment, and they have all the students wanting to get every experience on set. So you have these huge crews, top-notch gear that you don't actually have the budget for at the CFC. Like if you're in the program there, it's a wonderful program, but they just don't have enough funding and equipment like you do in a university program, where you have these 19-year-olds who are just hungry to like be working, and they all work on each other's shit. They're voracious for it. So you get some really good quality experience if you're building a reel, if you're building your resume, if you want to get credits to join the union, which back in the day was 6 credits, now it's 3.
Yeah, but you get one for graduating theater school.
Yeah.
It's like,
come on. Actually, I think I used that. I think I used one of my credits as theater school. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Damn it. But it was hard to get into the union back then. Now they're like, join, just pay us. They just need numbers, and I get it, but
they need that.
Yeah, they need that sweet union dues.
Hundo P.
But say yes to everything. Don't just sit and wait for the phone to ring. Create. There's that clip going around of Billy Bob Thornton talking about catering at a Hollywood party when he was first starting out, and he ran into Billy Wilder, and Billy Wilder was talking to him, and he's like, "Listen, buddy, you're not pretty enough to be a leading man. You're not ugly enough to be a quirky character actor. You're something in between. So you better create your own." And he went out and created Sling Blade, and it he made his career off that.
Vin Diesel got Saving Private Ryan because Steven Spielberg saw a short film he made.
Right. There you go.
It's just it's insane. And it's
make your own shit. Say yes to everything. Yes. That's why I have so many credits, because it's like random short films, and I still do short films with up and coming. I'll get asked to do them every once in a while from someone, and if I like it, I'll say yes. I usually say yes, because I'm like, if you can put me up or fly me out or whatever, this looks fun. I'm going to do it. Or I kind of reserve it for friends now. I work with friends who want to get directing experience, or a friend of a friend or something like that. But I say yes to a lot of stuff that my agents are like, stop stop saying yes to everything. And I'm like, no, I just want to I love this job.
Yeah.
You know, in Toronto, I did so many tip films that are like, you get paid $100 a day. I was like a lead of a film, and I think I worked 14 days to film this thing and didn't make enough money to pay my rent, which is mind-boggling to me, but I was happy.
Yeah.
I was working all the time, and that environment doesn't really quite exist in LA, or I haven't quite found it yet. There's not that indie spirit. Everybody's shooting for like the stars there. Whereas in Canada, people like ground out work and they create their own stuff, and it gets them places.
Yeah, there's like, because I've produced a fair bit of indie features in the States, and I think it's generally more of an East Coast like mecca.
Yeah, it's hard to find, like Vancouver doesn't quite have the indie
no
community that Toronto has in filmmaking. The Toronto indie community is so inviting and awesome. You know, I love like the Canadian Film Festival and like all these like really great festivals that we have. Just everybody turning out and helping each other. It's awesome. I really miss that so much living in LA.
Yeah, I get that. The idea, I think there was a period of time there where the internet became really obsessed with the power of no. And I think this new generation coming up, like at its core, and this is like more and more when people are like, I don't know if I should do this because it's like, I don't know if it's gonna be big enough or it's a small role or it's whatever, I don't wanna burn myself in the show. I'm like, if you're young, one, the universal truth is that you're not as good as you think you are.
Oh God, yeah.
So get reps.
There is someone prettier, hungrier, better, and more motivated than you out there. That's who you have to be.
Yeah, so get reps, but also what you just talked about with Orphan Black, and like, you know, I think of people like Anna Hopkins and, you know, myself, all this, like the number of times I've auditioned for a principal role that's turned into a recur, that's turned into like a recur through seasons, through like, and I have clients that become serious regs, all this stuff. It's just like, this is the way to do it. And it's all because they said yes to something that theoretically could have been beneath them. It's like there was at some point in some time, there was an agent who told Samuel L. Jackson to stop saying yes to and it's like, you know, that person was fired and is poor.
Yes.
As opposed to his current agent that's like, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I mentioned sponsors before. This is our quick little blurb on Othership. Othership is a wellness space. They offer contrast therapy, so saunas, cold plunging. The reason why this is important is because auditioning is the emotional equivalent of getting hit by a car, and we don't do it in person anymore. The in-person audition was a crucible for actors that conditioned our nervous systems to learn how to function on set. So when you get into an in-person audition, you feel like you're gonna die. And when you get on set for the first time, especially if you're a young actor, the feeling is very similar, and you wanna make sure that your nervous system is in good condition to handle that. That's why Othership I go all the time, because you get into a 2-minute cold plunge, and let me tell you, you will learn very quickly how to keep your nervous system under control, because the second you get in, you're gonna wanna jump out. It's really cool. I find it very relaxing on top of exhilarating and invigorating. For me, it's like the perfect way to unwind. So we're partnering with Othership because it's something that I use, which is super amazing. There's going to be a bunch of stuff that you can click down in the description, but I'll give you a quick rundown on it. With code Douglas Nyback, you get 11% off all classes and packages. So anytime you're booking classes, like one-offs or like group packages, you always buy like 5-session packages there. You get 11% off using that code Douglas Nyback. There's a special offer, also a link below, to get a 2-for-1 start pack. Like, so if you're going for the first time and you click this link, you can get 2 sessions for the price of 1. I highly recommend you do that. And there's also a link for 1 month free of their breathwork app. I use their breathwork app almost every day. In fact, my longest streak for breathwork through their app was 586 days or something like that before I finally like forgot one day. The breathwork is, I just find it a really active way to meditate. Sometimes I have a hard time just sitting in stillness, and the breathwork really helps me stay grounded and present through the breathwork. Anyway, Othership is best. Appreciate you very much, and let's get back into the show. So why do you hate close-ups? What did they ever do to you?
I fucking hate my face, Doug.
What?
I hate my face. I hate close-ups. No, essentially that's it. I don't like how I look on camera. I guarantee you, I'll watch these clips and I'll be like, oh man, look at that guy. I just don't like watching myself. I will to see how something turns out. I think especially if you're a regular or recurring or a lead on a show, you gotta watch your stuff to make sure what everything that you're trying to translate onto camera is coming through, and if it's not, you need to modulate within reason. But I hate watching myself. I hate close-ups because I just have this bowling ball head that you put it from 3D into 2D and it just becomes this, I just hate it. I hate it. And so a close-up is just that. It's like your whole face, and Americans love their close-ups. They want, just let me show what's in the eyes. But I'm too big and theatrical, and I move too much. I'm not still. And I can't do stillness. I'm shifty, I'm moving all the time. Like, I don't know how many positions I've sat in on this couch while you're just like, just tell me more about your life. Yes, and I'm like crawling all over everything. Yeah. You know, I can't do stillness. I'm gonna do the rest of this
just
like
upside
this.
down.
Yeah. So, you know, there I was on stage. Yeah, no, I
love the Cleopatra.
Yeah, really. I could just lounge out on this. I'm too big and goofy, and I move too much. And I've tried. I went through a phase. You know what it was? It was Interstellar. Great movie. Love that movie. I went to see it on IMAX. Biggest screen you can see it on. Shot on IMAX. Yeah. Best sound system in the world. Yeah. Close up of Matthew McConaughey's wrinkly face. Yeah. It's the biggest face in the world right now on that screen that you could possibly have as a face in the world. That moment.
It's like the size of a 4-story medical building in a small town.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's all his face. And he's there, and it's just, I'm in my seat, and I can't understand a word he's saying. I can't hear it. I can't make it out. He's like,
and it's the Christopher Nolan sound design.
So
it's just like,
yeah, just like, but he's like mumbling his way, like he's just, and it's like you're on the biggest screen in the world. You're not moving a thing, and Americans love that. They love the cerebral in the eyes. The eyes are the windows the windows to the soul. Acting. And I'm more theatrical. I'm more of the British ilk. I went to a British-style conservatory program. Yeah. I'm a theater at heart actor, and I'm too big. And I went through a phase, I'm like, I guess that's what I need to do. And I started doing that in my tapes. I started trying, this was years ago, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do stillness. I'm gonna just be more cerebral. I'm gonna be more in the eyes. I'm gonna be more mysterious. And I'm just gonna act with real stillness, and I'm just gonna get through it. Just like acting Hollywood. And then like I started getting notes like, what the f with your tapes? Like, what is going on? Your personality isn't coming through. Yeah. What are you doing? And that was a really healthy reminder to like, don't try and be something else. Just be yourself. Know thyself and be yourself.
Because you can point at Matthew McConaughey, right?
Yeah, he's a great actor. I love him. I really do like him.
But then,
it was shocking in that moment that I couldn't understand what he was saying. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, but then you can point at like Jack Nicholson.
Right.
Nicholas Nicholson. Which one's the golfer?
I know. I always mix this
I
up.
always do that.
It's so stupid. It's Nicholson.
Or like
Nicholas is
DiCaprio. Yeah, right. DiCaprio's not a subtle actor.
Right.
Like to the degree that, I mean, like DiCaprio needs my notes, but like but in watching the Killers of the Flower Moon, I was like, are you at the stage where nobody's like, you have to be believable as somebody this person would be attracted to. Yeah. Like you should maybe chill with the face for just a bit. Yeah. Like you're not going to out.
He was really doing some Brando-y like.
Yeah. Well, he was like, it was like he was trying to out De Niro. Yeah. It's just like you're never going to fucking outscowl that guy. Don't try. Yeah. But it's like, but there's plenty of actors. So you point to McConaughey, and like these are obviously like DiCaprio's an incredible actor. That was an incredible performance. I'm not giving actual notes, but
I like the disclaimer. You should just have a disclaimer at the bottom of that. Yeah, also, DiCaprio's a fantastic actor. It was a great performance.
Please come on my show at some point when we're relevant enough.
Wow, so you'll have me when you're not.
I'm so sorry.
But you'll have DiCaprio when you're big and famous.
Don't act like you're not slumming it here.
Not at all.
But it's like there are plenty of examples of highly successful people who are like much more expressive.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
Daniel Day-Lewis isn't out there being like battle of who can do less.
No,
right?
I drink your milkshake. Yeah. I mean, he's big.
Exactly. He's right. So I think like, but that lesson of that's just not my jam.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, that's it right there.
And I think that's so.
Know your jam and spread it.
T-shirts.
Yeah.
Just gotta put this on T-shirts.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my cancer.
Yeah.
Know your jam and spread it.
But that's a really important thing because that goes back to know thyself.
Yeah.
Because and this is, you had talked about the Botox and all that stuff.
Which I haven't had. I know you're thinking, those on YouTube, look at this guy.
It's just
so smooth.
It's too perfect.
Not a wrinkle on his grizzled old face.
But I am seeing like generations of actors. It's really funny because it's like the young actors do it and they look old, and the old actors do it and they look young.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the thing is that everybody looks the same.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible thing in a world where now casting directors are seeing 200, 300 people per role because you're blending in, which is where it's all come from, because it's Instagram filters. Everybody looks the same.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a terrible time to be blending in. It's
Yeah.
never been worse.
Yeah.
Because there's
Absolutely.
so many people.
I mean, I think that's why I've managed to have a bit of a career, is that I don't have leading man looks. I'm not skinny. I'm not chiseled and handsome. I am handsome in my own way, but it's like, you know, like,
I think you're handsome.
oh, thanks, Doug. you know, that's a conversation I have with my therapist all the time. You know, my lack of self-confidence in myself.
Sure, me too.
You know,
it changes from day to day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's something that you also have to be supremely aware of in our business. You have to be realistic about where you are and where you land in this business. Yeah. I'm not going down to LA and being like, I'm going to get a leading role. I'm going to be a leading man. I could on like some quirky show or something like that, or someone could take a shot with me, but I'm not expecting that. I am a good side character who can like hopefully move the plot along or be entertaining or steal the show or have some fun. I don't aim to do any of that. I just go out and want to do a good job, and I want to be rehired, or if it's a single episode, I want to get 2. Yeah. Or I want 2 to turn into come back next season and join us. Like, you know, I want to make myself indispensable, but I'm not unrealistic about my looks, about how I appear on camera. And that's the other thing. When we were going into the room to audition, you never saw what they saw on screen. The screens weren't even facing you.
Right.
You were going in and you were talking to the people and then focusing on the reader, and you were acting, and then you left. And you were left to wonder, did I do well? I was in a void. I was so nervous or whatever, or you knew you did a good job, or you knew you should have bad or whatever. Yeah. With our self-tapes, we are constantly analyzing ourselves. Our face is right. We are editing our tapes. I edit my tapes. Yeah. We are constantly seeing in real time what we look like on camera. But not even that doesn't even count. Like if we're shooting it on an iPhone, if you're shooting it on your own camera, that is not an Alexa. That is not a Red or like some really good camera with an anamorphic lens, or like it's not as good as it's going to look in the end product. So if you really want to worry about it, get a good lens and actually light yourself right. Learn a little bit about lighting and lenses, and you got to sound good as well. Yeah. All that stuff. Learn how to do it. It's not that hard. There's a ton of YouTube videos and TikToks about it. Yeah. But put some care into your self-tapes, but also know that the end product is going to be so different with professional lighting behind you from different angles, key lights, filler lights, like all of it, you are going to look better than your self-tape. Yeah. Try not to take it to heart what you see on screen in a self-tape. Easier said than done. I'm terrible at that. But we see what we look like on camera all the time now. Yeah. We didn't even have, like 20 years ago, we were just getting digital cameras to take pictures with. It was film.
When I first started doing self-tapes, like as a coach, and it was like we'd record it onto a DVD that we would burn and then rip from the DVD to edit and send digitally.
Totally. When I first started studying on-screen acting with David Rotenberg, it was VHS tapes, and he had 2 cameras in class, and like other class members would be like, okay, you focus across shoot to that one, you focus across shoot to that one, and then we would go back and watch the VHS tape line by line as he would analyze what happened, and it was super useful in that you remembered you were watching back immediately what you had done because you still remembered, oh, I thought I was pushing too hard on that line and it actually came across good. Yeah. Or I thought I was like laying back and like, being cerebral, but I'm being way too big there. And you see it in those scenes. I still have every scene I had converted them, and after a while it was DVD, and then we would load them up online, and the technology made it way easier. But the best on-screen acting class you can have is with someone who records it right away, and then you watch it back right away while you're still fresh and remember what was happening in every moment of every line. That's the most useful training you can get for on camera. And I'm really, I owe a lot to David Rotenberg for that, because I studied with him for years. And, as soon as I started studying with him, I started booking constantly. That's how you know you're in the right place with the right teacher. It doesn't matter who it is. Don't treat them like a guru. Make them just a human being, and find a method that someone teaches that works for you. And if you start booking right away, you're like, okay, this is who I'm going to stick with for a while. Something's cooking right now.
And then trust that you can change too. It's like that coach may no longer
totally.
And it's not like that they don't work for you. It's just that
I need new skills or new tools for my toolbox,
or just a different voice. Like getting too comfortable can sometimes be an issue too.
It is.
It's fascinating.
And you see that happen on TV shows where you're coming in as a guest star, and it's like the leads have been on the show for 5 years. They don't even know their lines. The guest star is always more prepped than the leads on a show. Either because they have so much material that they just have to keep up. The only time I've not seen that is Orphan Black with Tamislani. She prepped and performed at least 5 lead characters per episode for 50 episodes of a show. That's bonkers. She would have a binder with each character, each clone, lined up, and between takes she would just be like, oh, what's going on later today, or what's in the next episode. She was constantly. Now I've been a lead on a show since then, and it's a lot of fun to play. I was number 3 on a show on Carter, and so every Sunday, Saturday was recovery, resting, because I knew I was in Monday through Friday, long days. Sunday was let's get loosely off book for the next week, and then always be 2 days ahead for the lines that are necessary in terms of prepped and ready to film. Because sometimes scenes get shifted, and all of a sudden, we're doing this scene now, so you better be off book first and foremost. When you're in a show, you know your character, you know what they're going for, that you know what they want. You just have to do modulations in terms of, what specifically what you want out of that character and some of the prep. But you know your character so well. But you got to be have the week, memorized, and then be prepped 2 days ahead just to shift things if you need to. But Tat would do that for 5 characters every single episode. It's insane. That is the hardest working actor I have ever seen, and probably in the history of actors. I'm sure there's a handful of roles that are similar, but I don't really know any other actor who could output such incredible performances, but with that much work, and still be so nice and gracious and welcoming to guest stars, give them the time of day, make them feel comfortable. She was like a masterclass on how to be a leader on set. It was incredible.
I've heard nothing but incredible things. I've never met her personally. I'd love to chat with her. I know Daniel. Daniel's
another brilliant Maslany, who I worked with on Murdoch for years.
Dude.
He's great.
We live in the same neighborhood, and I run into him once every 2 weeks. So I've heard nothing but incredible things about Tatiana and that experience, and multiple people have given me that base story as well.
She would give me more emotion on my coverage to draw a performance out of me than she would when the camera was on her.
That's crazy rare.
Yeah.
That's crazy rare.
Very rare. You won't find that from a lot of American actors.
No, you won't. And I mean, you won't find that from a lot of actors in general.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's one of my favorite things being a guest and seeing, sometimes I'll go in with the, I'm gonna light up your world. I'm gonna make you want to be here. For a hot second. You can see it when it happens. When you just give them something, and they're like, oh, and they're much more present.
And also they're like, ooh.
Because you can't help but be on autopilot. Because especially in network TV, and that's so much of it is the same.
And also on some network TV, the writing is a little hammy, and the same thing over and over again, especially on a cop show or something like that. It's okay, what are we doing today? Okay, this is the interrogation scene. Yeah, okay, what's the line? Yeah.
And that's
where were you? That's all you have to remember? Okay. Yeah,
exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And they're uninspired. I think at the end of the day, it sucks. I see those actors and I'm just like, you are making bank and you are like grumpy that you had to come in today for an hour. They're paying you an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
You show up for 5 minutes, even if you have to drive an hour. Like, that's the job, dude. And I get it. You're uninspired. But like, you got to find the excitement somewhere. So when a guest star comes in and like pops things up, you're like, oh, I thought I forgot how to dance. Let's dance.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and I think that's like, and I say that to actors when I'm coaching them for those kinds of roles. It's like this is something that you want to like have in mind.
Yeah.
That as you're auditioning for stuff like that you're there to light them up.
Yeah.
Like, to make them.
Yeah. It's so funny because when you do like a principal role or a guest star role or whatever, even a scener, and you're like, okay, I can't wait to see how this turns out so I can get footage for my reel. The camera ain't gonna be on you that much in the edit sometimes.
Yeah.
Like people tune in to watch the leads. They want to see how the lead reacts to what you're saying. They want to see how the lead comes back at you about something. It's very rare that you'll get a great clip of what you're doing all the time because, you know, in the edit, they're going to be flipping over to the lead while you're talking.
Because you're facilitating their story.
You're there to serve them, serve their story.
I think we actually have to bring the plane into land here because
I don't know how to fly, so this is on you.
Well, I tend to, and I don't know, do we have time for me to ask the question? We do.
The question?
Yeah, so I don't always ask this, but I'm always curious with actors who are as established and
I don't feel established.
I know. Well, I don't either, and I think a lot of actors feel that way. But I'm curious if you could go back in time and have a chat with like just starting out you. Is there a piece of advice that you would give beginner actor Kristian? It doesn't have to be deep. It can be like,
don't stop studying. Take breaks, but don't stop studying. When I got out of theater school, I was like, I've done this for 7 years. I'm done. Now it's time to do. Doesn't work like that. Right. It took me like another 8 years before I started going back to classes with David Rodenberg, and I should have done that from the hop. Like I should have taken the summer after theater school off, and then found a studio to work out of and keep practicing. It's the gym. Keep the muscles, you know, in good shape. Keep rolling with it. Always be hungry to learn. Find a good studio to work at. Keep the studies up, and go to therapy. Honestly, whether you're an actor or not, everybody should go to therapy.
Yeah, especially if you've got.
It's not a weakness; it's a strength.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like we just got started. I know.
I
feel like I could
talk
to you for another couple of hours. So nice to have you here. So nice to actually have the time to sit and chat with you.
Thanks for having me.
I have a tremendous amount of admiration for you. Every time that I see you on something, I'm just so happy and pleased to see you doing well. And I wish you all the best.
Thanks, buddy. Same to you.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
We ride.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey, man, that was fun.
That was super fun. Okay, that's it. That's the pod. Look at us. Look at us here at the end of it. Look how far we've come. Kristian's great. Hey, he's a really cool guy. That was an absolutely fantastic conversation, and couldn't be more grateful that you're here, that you took part in it as well. If you liked this podcast, please do share it with your friends. Follow us across our social medias at Nyback Act on Instagram, TikTok. Check out the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, for more long form, like acting deep dives, all that kind of stuff, like really, really, really great stuff. Everything's growing, and it's all because of you, and I really appreciate it. And I think 2026 is going to be a big year for the pod. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you in the next episode. In the meantime, go be people.